What's your favorite Probie nickname that you had?
I like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that's a good one.
Welcome to NCIS Partners and Probies. I'm Diona Reasonover.
And I'm not Diona Reasonover. I am Brian Dietzen.
You're not?
I'm not. Never have been.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got an amazing guest this week.
Yes. This guy is the longest tenured cast member out of any NCISs ever.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, are talking about the incomparable Sean Murray.
Sean Murray. You guys started so close to each other, too.
We did. He was on like episode 7 or 6 or 7, something like that. I came on episode 19, I think. But no, Sean, I mean, you think about it, he's been on for 23 years. He's been on more episodes than even Mark Herman has. This guy was born on a military base.
Yes.
On a naval base.
Yes.
And he started taking over Hollywood when he was very young in Hocus Pocus. So an actor who's from the Navy, guy's born to play McGee.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this was a slam dunk casting. And we're going to get to talk to him a little bit about that casting, a little bit about other projects he's done with Gary Cole, with Mark Harmon, besides NCIS. You're going to hear a couple little things that you never knew before. Stick around.
Sean Murray, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, Brian and Diona.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet. You're so cool.
You know,
What a fun process
you,
to be able to like interview your friends, but it's not really an interview because we know everything, it feels like, but I'm hoping there's some things that we don't know about you that we'll learn today that everyone else will be in on now. But
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. This is live.
That was
right?
very Andy Cohen. Watch what happens live.
Watch what happens live.
That.
He's good. You gotta
give it to him. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta.
So Timothy McGee has been around since 2003, since the very beginning. Well, nearly the very beginning, right?
I believe it was season 1, episode 5 or 6.
Little ditty we call Sub Rosa.
Sub Rosa, yeah. The intricate episode involved. No, but that was Sub Rosa was the introduction to the McGee character. He was I think they were investigating something, and they were near Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
McGee was like one of the local rookie agents, on the base there, and he was helping out with something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We didn't. The name Probie hadn't quite become a thing yet. So.
I remember
when that all happened too.
Yeah. Well, that episode though introduced the character. And I believe that episode was short, right? That episode was a little short, and they needed to add a scene in.
No,
is that correct?
No. What happened was we did that. We did the Sub Rosa episode.
Okay. They
kind of had it open ended. As far as my character, he didn't.
Right.
He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't in jail. He wasn't, dead. And they kind of made, which is always a good way to start. If you want to return, these are all good, things.
Yes.
Although we've had plenty of people in ghost form on our show.
Yeah, that's true.
That's happened as well. But no, I remember there was they were insinuating, they kind of had a thing between Abby and McGee.
Yeah.
That they were kind of dating or seeing each other. So they kind of left it open. Anyway, I think the episode they did after that, McGee was not part of the script.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they ended up being 3 minutes short. And
that's the episode. Okay.
Someone said, bring McGee back. Let's put him with Tony. They were good together. And we do a C story with them where they're off doing a thing. So then McGee became part of that episode. And then it just started, McGee was in the episodes after that to a kind of a guest star, level.
Yeah.
Where he'd be helping the team out on different things. And it just kind of grew as we went.
I mean, because Don, obviously, he's so good at character and the archetypes and all that sort of stuff. And that was McGee to me seemed like that was the missing piece of when you have a Probie character in there who then can, Tony can then explain things to him, which will then in turn explain the case to the audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then also you did a lot of heavy lifting when it came to exposition and telling everybody the nuts and bolts of the case going forward.
Sure. Yeah. No, McGee was very much,
and it kind of feels like, well, yeah, that's intrinsically valuable and should be there from the onset.
Well, I remember when we started, there was this sort of That was kind of the vibe too. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like, you're filling in, you're a slice of the pizza that's helping the rest of the pizza.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. Like it works in there. That we did not have a slice of pizza
Sean,
like
there's
this
tons
before
of
you.
pizza here.
Yeah, we need pizza. The pizza needs help.
New pizza that works together in one pie. I'm not sure what I'm talking about.
It says on top of little pizzas.
I like your metaphors. I like your little pizza metaphors. But I guess I didn't realize that you weren't in that next episode. Like I was always like, oh, you know.
No, and it was, you know, one of the you know, things about TV. It was like, I think you were talking early. I think I heard you earlier on one of the other episodes talking about that you thought someone had been cast by then, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there's one thing we learned being a part of the business of TV is like things just like happen.
Yeah.
And decisions are made very quickly about things. And, you know, you can have a plan for a whole lot of things and things can change like that, you know, based on whatever, you know, a million different factors.
Yeah.
So the fact that it just became it's short, the show was short.
Mm-hmm.
And someone had the idea, we can bring McGee back and do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I don't know what would have happened if no one, you know, if they weren't short on that show and then it became a thing. But
magic. That's the magic.
Well,
that's honestly the magic of TV. And I mean, even the name Probie, like literally the name Probie has endured so much. I mean, we literally named our podcast Partners and Probies. Partially.
Yeah, no. And I think the episode where I became a full member of the team was called Probie.
Yeah.
That was a Dawn episode, correct?
Yeah, that was a Dawn episode.
Yeah.
And I remember Leon Carroll, the tech advisor, you know, our tech advisor, who I think now does a little bit of stuff with Origins as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember Dawn and those guys talking about what's something other than, you know, rookie. What's kind of a rookie sort of thing, you know, and he had, you know, heard Probie, which I guess was kind of short for probationary.
Yeah.
Yeah, probationary agent.
Right, Probie. So, and that became a thing, and McGee became was the original Probie.
Yeah.
And then we had all the nicknames. We had Weatherly ad-libbing Probie nicknames for
What is your
for 12 years.
What's your favorite Probie nickname that you had?
There's a lot of good ones. I actually was thinking about this before.
I loved Probalicious.
Probalicious is fantastic.
I didn't expect that.
No, Probalicious is fantastic.
And then of course Mick nicknames.
Yeah, the Mick nicknames. I like Probi-Wan Kenobi. I think that's a good one.
That's really good.
And I'd say 98% of those were not, no disrespect to our writers, but I'm pretty sure Michael Weatherly came up with
Weatherly came up with a lot of them. I think Weatherly came up with Autopsy Gremlin as well.
I think he did too. Yeah.
Yeah. So he named a lot of us.
I want a nickname now. I want a nickname. You guys have to give me one.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
It's so cool that like we watched your character, but we also kind of watched your character like outgrow these nicknames. You know what I mean? McGee is not a Probie anymore. Like,
well, it's funny. I always thought there was always this, some people say, you know, especially in the early years, they're like, man, people were so mean to McGee. People were so harsh on McGee and this and that and the other. And it never felt like that to me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I was like, no. He's getting hazed. This is part of like, you're new to the family.
Yeah.
You're going to get hazed and you're the little brother. You're going to get, you know, be the butt of the jokes and the thing. But it's not like, so I was always like, no one's being mean. I never felt like anyone's being mean to me. Or McGee, you know?
Yeah.
One of the writing conventions I thought that was really cool to serve that was that when Muse Watson came on the show as Mike Franks.
Yeah.
And he always called Gibbs Probie.
Right.
You know, just say like this is also a term of endearment, you know, like Gibbs will always be Franks' Probie.
And not saying, by the way, that McGee was the first character that was a Probie.
Oh,
that was the first time we were using the
on
term.
the show, though.
That's right.
That was the first.
That's
That
right.
was the first usage of it for sure. But it was kind of cool to like widen the aperture and show people like, oh no, like McGee is not the only Probie here. Like Gibbs is someone's Probie. You know, I thought it was so smart. And but that episode. Probie. What season was that? In the second season?
I believe it was episode 1 of the second season.
Yeah.
That was a powerful show. That was the first time, right, that he discharged his weapon. He thought he killed someone, correct?
Yeah, we
He
did.
killed a suspect.
Yeah. We had, McGee discharged his weapon. Someone is shot. And we don't. He did exactly, what he was supposed to do by the books. But that episode ended up sort of dealing with, you know, when you're law enforcement and you know you take someone's life, whether it's for the right, whether it's for, you do things by the book or not, just trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
Which I remember, I think if I recall, there was like, in one version of the script, it was dealt with like in one act.
Yeah.
And I think Don was like, no. That's one you deal in 4. If we're going to, we're going to make that about
because if you're a federal officer and you kill someone, it doesn't matter if it's a justified killing, a bad guy, it's a bystander.
Yeah. Right.
There's an investigation to get to the bottom of it to make sure that everything was done by the book, and the agent is held accountable if it wasn't, right? I mean, so that's kind of the story of the entire thing.
And as a any vulnerable sort of human being, or I mean, you do something like that, and take someone's life. That's heavy stuff.
Man.
Like you're saying, whether it's justified or not, whether you're protecting yourself or whatever, it's a lot of people can't get past that sort of stuff. So
I sort of can't imagine that in one act as opposed to 4, because part of what's been great and beautiful about watching McGee and like going back and watching those episodes is watching your character grow, like getting to spend the time with that character. I can't imagine rushing it in one act.
Yeah. And that was nice. We got to do that too. That when I joined the show and when McGee was sort of first being talked about, I was like, I don't want the baby Maggie Simpson syndrome. Like every week we just revert and it's the same character, whether or not he's learned anything.
Right.
Is that why everyone calls you Baby Maggie? On
no, I call that the Baby Maggie Simpson syndrome.
Okay. Oh, that's a different thing.
Where you just revert, you never grow.
I was wondering why somebody pitched that you had yellow spiky hair at the beginning of the next season. Yeah.
It's because
I'm always down to try something different. I'm always
he's like that part of Baby Maggie I will take. No, I get what you're saying though, because that's the cool part about seeing your character evolve over the course of, we're talking 23 years. Of course, people are going to grow, get married, have children. Yeah. Their loved ones will, some will pass away, and there's things that happen over the course of all of these seasons. And if you were the same dude as in Sub Rosa in season 1, there's something wrong with your brain. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like you
sure
cannot be that
figured
guy.
something out.
Yeah,
learned a thing or two.
Pull it together. But you, Sean Murray, as your family, your family is kind of steeped in Hollywood, right? You have your brother Chad's a producer. Obviously, Don is married to your mother, created the show. I mean, Michael was an actor. Well, I don't know. Does Michael act anymore?
No, he does. He does. He actually is pretty busy, pretty consistently.
Is he really?
Oh, wow.
He does a lot. He does a lot of kind of more obscure stuff. He does a lot of independent, films that shoot outside of the U.S. But he keeps himself pretty busy.
Just a wonderful guy. And then of course, Troy and your sister. Is always active. She's directing a lot now and all of that.
Oh yeah,
and she was on Celebrity Jeopardy.
And she was on Celebrity
Jeopardy. Very
Jeopardy.
Cool.
That's right. She was on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I almost forgot that.
And what I find is interesting is that there's that dichotomy between the Hollywood of it, and then your father was a naval officer for over 30 years as well.
Yeah, retired naval captain. Yeah.
Yeah, those are two very different worlds, but it. It's not going to sound hokey, but it does kind of feel like you were born to play this type of role, though. This McGee, you know what I mean? Like you have this naval history, and you know what the hell you're doing in Hollywood as well, and you're a damn good actor. So it's kind of. Well, I mean it, man. I mean, I feel like, who else could have played McGee?
Having that, I'll be honest with you, having that growing up on Navy bases like I did, all that stuff. Did inform the character a lot.
Yeah.
So, and that's why, also a lot of that stuff early on that we kind of did with McGee and sort of his strange relationship with his father and that sort of thing was,
Oh man, that episode when
the captain,
when McGee's father passed away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. We did.
Oh,
I think that one was pretty effective.
Yeah.
That was a punch in the liver.
Yeah.
That was or maybe the spleen. It was somewhere around here.
That's the one where McGee is you're the medical guy.
Yeah, I was like, you don't know?
I've been faking it for years. No, but was
that the one of the narration McGee with the letter to?
Well, it's when and at the end when McGee is over his father's casket.
Yeah,
it was incredibly powerful. But yeah, you said that living on Navy bases and with a father who was in the military served to inform who McGee was.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever consider serving at any point? Was that was that ever brought up? I would imagine having a father in the service, it would at least be a discussion.
Yeah, no, it was. I think, my father, I'll be honest with you. I think I was headed in a very different direction from things like that. I spent a ton of time with my father on the ships. I remember there's a thing you can do if you, they probably still have this, but whoever are officers stationed on a big ship, they'll do a thing called a Tiger Cruise sometimes, where when, these ships, in this case, it was the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier that my father was a commanding officer on. And so they were coming back from a deployment in the Gulf. This was probably late 80s. And I was, because you got to be just over 10 years old. So, and anyway, they're coming back from deployment. They stop in port in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You fly over there, you get on the boat or the aircraft carrier and then spend 7 days going to port. So you get to live on the ship and be a part of everything that goes on. And they let us do stuff that I'm pretty sure was not okay. We were shooting machine guns off the back of ships. It was all it was the 80s, man. It was loose. It was, you know what I mean?
That actually.
I think I wandered into some sort of ammunitions room at some point, and my father got called about it. They're like, we found your son in the ammunitions room. We can't do this. We can't do this.
Actually makes total sense.
But no, I feel like during this trip, it was while I found the things like the firearms in the ammunitions room and everything else so much fun.
And you're 10.
And maybe 11. Yeah, maybe 11.
That's
that's
great.
better.
They were mounted machine guns.
That's fair.
They only had a certain kind of range on them. Like you can, get
How
really,
many tattoos did you get on shore leave? Was it
no, but it was during this trip. I think I remember going I'm pretty sure my dad knows this is not going to be my thing. I love hanging and doing the deal, but I kind of knew what I wanted to do from a very early on, and luckily my dad, as much as he didn't kind of understand that and such a different kind of guy, always had nothing but support for it and everything,
Yeah.
So, and he gets a kick obviously out of the military ties to the show and the whole NCIS thing there. So, yeah.
Well, and how does he feel about it? Does he feel like we're getting it right? Does he feel like we're representing the right way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he's his favorite stuff about the show is the stuff that we hear from longtime fans all the, it's the little stuff, the kind of runners and the little quirks of the different characters and, just that sort of, general stuff.
So he got the idea that basically, okay, my son might not be, Navyman material. He's looking elsewhere.
Maybe he can play one on TV.
Maybe he can play one on television. At that age, at 11 years old, were you working yet in Hollywood?
No, it was right after that. I think we were, because we were in Alameda, up near Oakland, Alameda Naval Base. We got moved to San Diego area, Bonita Vista.
Okay.
Bonita Vista. And my father was working near Coronado and stuff there, so we were stationed down there. And I think I was maybe at this point 12.
Okay.
There was a see, now I'm thinking about my placement, where I was at what time.
Yeah.
But no, in terms of
moving.
when I started working, there was a call there was an ad on the radio locally in San Diego to do this call for extras that were going to be background in a movie for this Steve Martin movie, and to come down to Jack Murphy Stadium on blah blah date, and they're going to pick people to be background or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was, I begged my mom, because like anyone that wants to be an actor, especially as a kid, you've grown up watching movies and TV. It's it's what You're no, I'm ready for let's go.
Oh, yeah.
I need to be a part of this world.
Put me in.
Yeah.
So I remember we went to Jack Murphy Stadium and then everyone standing and there was someone, probably an AD at the time, I didn't know who it was, but is going down a line and picking people every, fourth or fifth person to stand in a second line.
Okay.
And I've told this story before, but they didn't pick me. But when they were past me, I jumped in the other line anyway because I was like, it's probably good to get picked. I doubt they're picking people to like,
To leave.
you know, to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I jumped in. I jumped in the line. They took our information. I got called to be one of the background in this movie. And so we went to Jack Murphy Stadium because it was a movie where that's had a sequence, a football or baseball sequence, something going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they needed Jack Murphy Stadium with a little section to, do the honors.
Yeah.
And I remember
What movie was it?
it was called My Blue Heaven.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Is that with Lily Tomlin?
Yeah.
No, it's Rick Moranis.
Oh, okay.
And Joan Cusack is in it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Wait, is she in it? I'm pretty sure she's in it. Anyway,
so
I know
funny.
I'm like an old man just going with my story.
Oh, this is great.
So what
This is what
podcast?
we
this is
want.
But
what
that was my
podcasts
first
are.
time
We
ever
just tell
being
stories.
on a set.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the coolest. And the
Yeah.
director started we all kind of just sat down and wherever they told us to. And then the director started kind of placing extras in different spots.
Mhm.
And he wanted me and this guy to be like a father-son thing. And he kind of put us right behind Rick and Steve and those other guys. And there were a couple kid actors that were part of the movie too.
Nice.
One of which was Jesse Bradford,
Really?
which was so funny because decades later he came and guested on our show.
Yeah.
And I
Oh.
was doing a scene with Jesse and I was like, hey, just so you know, I was one of the background on that movie you did when I was a thing. That's why I became an actor because I saw you doing it. And I was like, I could do that.
If Jesse can do it, I can do it.
No, but it was, but that was my first time on a set and just seeing the way everything worked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what it's like as like an actor
Yeah.
when you're on a set, especially the first time, and you see all the lingo and just everything happening and the
Yeah.
energy of everything. You're like, oh, I think I got to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And don't you think? I think everybody like who wants to be an actor needs to do background work at some point. It's kind of
sure.
like how everybody should work in a restaurant at some point. And just like you need to see how things are made.
No,
And
for
like,
sure.
and
Being
also
on a set is
being on a
invaluable
set,
knowledge.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
And also realize like, hey man, like these people that are here, they are serving to tell the story as well. They are also, background artists and they're here. It's a super valuable thing. But
Absolutely.
sometimes, I mean, people maybe look at it a little more disparagingly, but I think no, we all need to do this.
Acting is great.
I think about like our background artists on NCIS.
Oh man, yes.
In the office, we've
Yep.
had people there for decades.
Mhm.
We've had people there for 23 years.
No, I
and
know,
then the
yeah.
bullpen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
Or the walkers that we used to have we used to have people
outside of the
Yeah.
forensics, right?
Wasn't it Don at one point?
Pardon me.
Wasn't it Don sometimes that would walk sometimes outside of
Don
forensics?
did it one time famously.
Yeah.
If he did the cigar smoke, you could probably smell that
he
as
he
well.
did
right?
it was in the second season, I think. He
Was he stomping
stopped
around back there?
He stopped and he went down to tie his shoe and looked in. and then got back up.
Wait, that was a playing thing. I remember that.
Yeah,
That's right. I remember
Yeah,
that.
And
That
Paulie
was-
just kind of did one of these like,
Yeah.
like going on about my lab business.
Do you remember now why Diona probably does too. You remember why we eventually got rid of the walkers?
Was it COVID?
No.
No. Oh, no. Why?
No, what was it?
It was they started running. They didn't start. This was a thing, but I guess visually after a while, every time people would walk by, you'd have quick flashes of light getting interrupted. And so you'd have shots in the room during the scene where there's like something stuttering with the light almost. And it's just because of someone crossing the light out front. And it became
yeah.
enough of a distraction where it was like, let's concentrate more on the scene here.
Yeah.
As much as, we love the walkers and that whole thing.
There's some subreddit somewhere where people are like decoding the flashes, I'm sure. They're like, okay, they did 3 flashes right now. That's their way of saying like,
There's some sort of
hi,
conspiracy
Michael.
theorist,
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I'm sure.
So after you do your famous turn in My Blue Heaven,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
which people are still talking about,
Raving
Thank you.
about it.
namely the two of us.
Mhm.
It's great that you guys are keeping that alive.
We're really keeping it alive. We've got a whole subreddit.
We have a subreddit,
Speaking of
actually.
subreddits,
My Blue Heaven, r/My Blue Heaven.
yes, Our Blue Heaven is called. So how long is it then before we get to see like this iconic turn that you have in Hocus Pocus?
Mm.
How old were you when you did that film? Because I mean, that one
I
is a
think
Hollywood.
that was like I was 13
Halloween
or
classic.
14. I think I was 14.
Is it a
maybe
couple
just
years
turned
later?
14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was after being on the My Blue Heaven set, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I got to do.
Mhm.
And I went to my parents about how do I go about doing this, and full support from them. My mother was down for the adventure of, okay, let's start, we'll let you get an agent. We'll start doing, doing auditions. So we were
Yeah.
commuting for auditions from San Diego to LA.
So you're going like 2.5 hours up to an audition.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
coming
yeah.
back 2.5 hours.
And like we're doing that for,
Yeah.
like a year and a half. And I was doing commercials and stuff like that. But yeah, I was 14 when Hocus Pocus happened.
Wow. And you were like the first person in your family to start this whole audition process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is also, this is, also Dawn is not part of, my mother met
Yeah.
Dawn years down the
A
road. I
long
think I
time
was in
maybe,
my
Yes.
20s at some point when they met
Yeah.
and got married. But yeah, so yeah, I didn't have any family in the business. I didn't know
Mhm.
anything. I just kind of showed up in town and
Mhm.
trying to get jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hocus Pocus happened, and I was, I was fortunate. Like I
Oh,
got
yeah,
to stay
man.
pretty
Yeah.
busy when I was young,
Well, I mean,
and that's a good thing.
and
You
was
it's
it
like it's
that opened
for a lot
doors
of
for
reasons.
you? Then? Like the Hocus Pocus, is that what kind of opened a lot of doors for you as far as like getting work on other things, getting some guest spots, other movies?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of, what you learn as an actor is that your job is to get a job.
Mhm.
Your job is auditioning, finding jobs. So that I kind of got pretty good at that, the art of the audition.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was out there trying to scoop up what I can, and Hocus Pocus was one of them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When did I'm jumping forward a little bit, but
No.
when did the switch happen when people started recognizing you more for McGee than Thackeray Binks? Do you remember when that happened approximately?
There was a big jump in, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this stuff. There's a big jump in viewership and eyes on NCIS between when we went down in season 2 and we started in season 3,
Mm-hmm.
because and this was prior to Game of Thrones and the Red Weddings and all this
Yeah.
and stuff, where our lead female character took a bullet and
Yes.
died at the end of season
Yeah.
2, and you didn't see that in network television shows.
Right.
Like it was not happening, and we, I remember shooting that. I remember not printing the pages so that it wouldn't, it would be kept a secret.
Yeah.
And somehow we were able to keep it a secret for a couple months, and it aired. But anyway, between when we went out season 2, season 3, Cody DePablo starting, because of the way season 2 went out, there was a lot of, over that summer, a lot of eyes started like training on the show. And I'd say by season, 4 or 5, well, it was funny too. And me and Weatherly used to talk about that we'd be in year 2 or 3 and it'd be like, oh, you're on the with the CSI Blue show.
Which city is yours in? Is yours the
Right.
Miami
Or they're
one?
like, oh, you're the guy with
you
the
in-
thing.
Yeah.
and then,
you're in Vegas.
as-
You're in Vegas.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I also
Just
that
nod.
yeah. You got it, guy.
Sure.
But like
did you know?
season 4 and 5, that's when we were got syndicated on USA.
And we became a big hit for USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
And
NCIS
that-
reruns were a big hit on USA.
Did you guys ever hear the story of like the syndication process and why we ran so much on their network?
I think because they got our episodes cheap, didn't they? Isn't that
I've
something?
heard this secondhand, is that the person who was working at CBS, I might be completely wrong here, but the person who was in charge of selling into syndication
Right.
went to go work for USA. So they essentially sold it to themselves.
Oh,
Oh, is that the deal?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder they got
And
it
so
so
they
cheap.
got a really great price.
Yeah.
right.
But the upshot of that is because it was an inexpensive show,
Mhm.
syndication wise,
yeah.
they could play it over and over and over again for a lower fee than normal.
Right.
So it was
right.
almost like, bummer, we don't get as big a residuals for our syndication.
But the exposure
But
was
the exposure meant so
Yeah.
much to our show. Then
Yep.
suddenly people are saying, hey, there's new ones on CBS.
Yeah.
And like,
mhm.
let's watch some of those now.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a big deal for us.
It's a Wonderful Life of TV TV procedurals. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that. That's what
Really
happened with
inexpensive.
Yeah.
And we'll just run it nonstop on TNT.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So wild.
That's it's pretty cool, and you can see the market like uptick in viewership,
Mhm.
like right at that syndication point. And I think
Yeah, we
that's
definitely benefited from the exposure of people seeing like, oh wait, there's a show with all
Yeah.
these episodes with these characters that
yeah.
seem to
Yeah.
have fun together and have
Yeah.
something going on.
Why do you think this show resonates with people so much?
I mean, I have my theories as far as,
Yeah.
because obviously if it was a clear cut, formula, we could all go create television
They would just do it
shows
again and again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I think about a lot of different things, and the one especially when it comes to the cast that I think about is that, and we've all been on hundreds of sets and worked, different jobs and stuff. We get along in a way where, everyone, cast from television shows love to go out there and be like, we're a big happy family. And it's not like that most of the time, as
Yeah.
you know, it's optics.
Yeah.
Like we spend a lot of time with each other I've known Brian, I've known you for over 2 decades. And,
Yeah.
come over
I
to
mean,
your
our
house for
kids were
brunch,
born
you
at the
come over to
same
my house.
time. I mean,
No, that's what I mean. We're all,
yeah.
but it's a good thing we like each other because if we didn't, it'd really be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to tell people, like, when they say, I say it really is a family.
Mhm.
And I remember there's been multiple reporters who have said, like, oh, that's so great that you guys love each other so much and you all always get along. And I said, what family are you a part of? No, like, we're a family, as in, like, we can tell each other how things are. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and we
yeah,
spend
yeah.
time with one another and we do love each other. But, like, being a part of a family is also responsibility. It's not just all sunshine and roses. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
you show
right.
up and you do your stuff.
yeah.
You show up and you know your stuff and you're there for one another. And that being there for one another part, I think you're right, man. Like, I think that's what comes across on camera.
Well, I think it's a combination of that. I think it's, the team that we've had from the beginning, a lot of which is still with us, directors, writers.
Yeah.
No one is, and 23 years in, people can get lazy.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think we've been really good about not letting that happen.
Yeah.
Everyone in every department is like, no, we're not just going to, we're always looking to make it better.
Yeah.
And it feels, also people say, I've had people say to me, God, like, you've played the same role for 23 years. You must be dying to do something else, or like, must be. And it's like, no, it's always been moving in a direction of trying to get it better. It's not like we just sort of found something and went, okay, let's just stick to this little formula for a while. I mean, every year we get together and have meetings, with everyone, the writers, the cast, the EPs, to talk about collectively what we want to do as far as how we can see it getting better, what we can do better, what we've learned from that year.
Mhm. Also,
Also, I think, and this is just maybe what happens when you have 500 episodes and have been on for 2 decades. But there's some people out there that our show means a lot to,
Yeah.
in a big way, like and more so, it's one thing when people's like, oh, my mom loves your character or whatever.
Yeah.
It's another when someone's like, I went through cancer treatments for,
Yeah.
a year and you guys got me through, helped get me through that sort of stuff. Like that's heavy. That's heavy duty.
great.
And
Yeah.
so we also feel kind of a responsibility for that too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like we don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of ties into something that I asked Brian about, and I'd love to hear you talk about it because you've been there for so long and you've been through so many transitions and seen so many changes on the show.
Oh yeah.
And I still am having a hard time now, even now, still like saying goodbye to some people. You know what I mean? It's hard when there are changes. So
Changes are always hard.
yeah, they are.
they
But
are.
I'm just wondering, is that kind of like, is that why you are able to continue doing this? Is it just the love of kind of the character? What is it?
It's a little bit of all those things, we've been so fortunate with the different iterations of cast that we've had come through too.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember when Mark was kind of getting ready to for Gibbs to appear less and less and kind of, and I remember some of the discussions about Gary Cole joining the show.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the phone call about, okay, so Gary's the guy. And I remember feeling like, yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because we have a real stuff to work like in a big way there.
Yeah.
And I actually did a movie of the week with him when I was 19 years old.
That's
You
right.
I couldn't remember the
did.
name of it, and he remembered. It was called For My Daughter's Honor.
Oh,
It's a great movie
Well,
of the
it's
week
funny because
title.
you also did a series and worked with Mark Harmon previously, right?
That's
Hearts of the
right.
Yes,
West.
Yeah, I worked
Hearts of
with
the
Mark
West.
when I was like 15. Yeah,
and
Yeah.
you did some
You did.
horse work on that too, right?
I did. We did a Western.
Yeah.
Which was strangely enough, we shot in Santa Clarita up off the 14, which is not that far from where we shoot NCIS.
So the secret is if you want to be the lead of a hit CBS procedural, work with Sean Murray in some capacity.
Correct.
It may happen decades later, but you'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're like a little rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
I just work with you, rub your little 15-year-old head and be like, someday.
Someday.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
I
right.
kind of love that you had that early stunt work too. I kind of want to ask what your favorite stunt on NCIS has been.
We, as far as and now I'm thinking about Hearts of the West and the horses. We had our own horses there because we had that ranch that we had a small Western town and a whole ranch that we shot in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we had, on-site wrangler, ranch, our horses that we used when we were on horses.
Mm-hmm.
So at 15, I was like, we'd have scenes off and we'd be like bareback galloping through the hills and stuff for 30 minutes at a time. Come back, get ready for your scene.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Like getting
That's
to do that
cool,
sort of thing.
dude.
And every day you get to show up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
was so
fun.
much. That was so much fun.
They should have put you in the Texas episode. Like you were in it, but I'm saying they should have put you on a horse for that one.
No,
Yeah.
no. I know. Well, maybe we'll see some horse in McGee's future.
Baby.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Give someone an idea.
Speaking of which, if you, is there anything that McGee has not done? We were talking about this just before about kind of long form storytelling, right?
Mhm.
And how television is such a great long form storytelling vehicle. And for most TV shows, we're talking about, episodes 1 through 13, right? And
Right.
like you said, not having the baby Maggie syndrome where you're just returning to the same thing every single episode. And
Right,
it's just
right.
again and again and again
Mhm.
that we're growing,
Yeah.
How have you felt that with McGee over the course of 23 years? How not how does it keep it fresh, but what is the challenge in doing that? Because for me, there's an inherent challenge in the obstruction is I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want to tell the same story again. I don't want to react to this the same way I would have reacted in, say, season 13, because this is 10 years later than that.
Sure.
I'm a different person. How do you kind of keep yourself present and say, I don't want to repeat the same notes, or if I do, I'm going to change it a little bit this way or that? Like, I guess I'm just kind of asking about your process.
Well, I think we all learn that too. I mean,
Yeah.
as we go, we're always sort of taking note of and thinking about how we could improve things, or So I mean, as far as the character's growth, I think that's kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
here, right?
yeah. It's
It seems, and and sometimes you really do have to remember that stuff.
Mhm.
You can have an initial reaction to something, in a scene or the way it is, and sometimes you gotta go, oh wait, I've been an agent for 20 years. I've dealt with a lot of stuff. I can remember that. But
also,
I think,
we did this one in season 3. I'm not going to say anything to anybody. But,
well, yeah, we have those.
I've run
that
up
show
against
where-
this one before. Yeah.
Well, we actually have some Probie questions.
Which are questions specifically for Sean Murray because he's the probie.
This time they are. But normally what we do is because our fans are called the Probies,
Yes.
we ask them, we say, hey,
love
here's our
that
guest.
too.
Yeah. We say, okay, here's our guest. How about some questions for them?
Yeah.
So
What do you got this week? We have Sean Murray on this week. What are you dying to hear from his face?
Okay, so McGee, this is a nice one. McGee has evolved more than almost any other character on the show. And so what version of him do you feel most proud of?
I've always viewed McGee in a state of I think this kind of ties into what you were talking about.
Yeah.
He's always learning, he's trying to get better, and he has, he was so good with with some technical stuff and, obviously the computer, nonsense. But when it started, McGee had everything to learn.
Mhm.
Not only the way to work socially in a team, but just how to interrogate, how to do these things. And, he spent years with Gibbs in those interrogations. And Gibbs, taught him how to interrogate.
Yeah.
Just like I sat in those rooms with Mark Harmon and, learn from Mark Harmon. So it's, you just, if you're always learning and looking to make it better, I mean, hopefully, we're just trying to be honest with it.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel well, you and I have had pretty parallel journeys. Do you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
as far as, well, Sean and I our birthdays are one day apart, same year. We're the same age. We have kids at the same time. Our characters were the Probies in their respective departments, right?
Right.
And so growing up, it's been cool to watch this this kind of different image of my journey, in you and vice versa. It's been really fun. It's been really fun to see.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the hell out of it. And to that end, I wanted to ask you this Probie question. If you could write one episode centered on McGee, what would you want fans to learn about him? And if you can give me an awesome answer, I'm going to see if I can.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're gonna make
that episode.
No, we're gonna make you join the WGA, man.
Yeah, we're gonna make
we
you
need
write
the
one
dudes,
next.
dude. We need the dudes.
That would be something I'd have to think a little about.
Okay.
Because I have, I know it's not a great answer, but I'll tell you, and I've talked to you about this, Brian, is that I've been very pleasantly surprised to find sort of learning new bits of information about McGee, little quirks, little things, nuggets of things that, only have appeared, 2 decades in or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's an element, I talked to you about it once. I remember we were sitting outside the trailers talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've always been so happy and so pleasantly surprised by a lot of these things that have come up that I very rarely react to something like, oh no, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
Usually whoever's writing it's one of our people that have been with us a long time and know exactly how McGee would be. And it's like, yes, that's a good thing to do with McGee.
Yeah. I remember this one very small detail. And if I'm misremembering this, I'll feel so silly and I'm going to cut this because I'm going to make sure it's not in there. But I feel like one time there was like a McGee, like almost a throwaway line where you had the weekend free because Delilah had taken the kids and you were looking forward to microwaving some fish sticks. Like that's how, and because Delilah couldn't stand that. And I remember being like, what a specific weird thing. And I feel like you told me that's how you used to eat them when you were a kid. Like that's what you used to do.
Well, I mean, I think McGee has all kinds of little specific things.
Was that a you thing?
Was that?
Did you do that?
I had all kinds of little specific
Okay, great.
things. I'm not sure if it was fish sticks, but no, yeah. I mean, that seemed to me like the kind of thing that's like, yeah, I'm going to cook my fish sticks.
No, I know. It's not. It's just one of these little details that I loved that I felt like they incorporated from you. And I was like, I never would have known that about you.
Well, it was like when the tap dancing stuff, when they were doing when that all came up. I was like, this is great.
I mean, even this year, I mean, there's some major revelations about McGee's past, and we're talking season 23,
Yeah.
and some big developments. It's like, just keep it going, man.
Yeah,
like this because it's interesting.
I agree. That's another one that came down the pike, and I was like way into it. And I mean, in season 23, we're putting McGee through the ringer a little bit in terms of stuff, and one of the things that I've always felt is McGee has always kind of planned his life in a certain kind of way, and needs things kind of compartmentalized and and anything that throws that off balance is going to be, for me, I think that's a fun thing to play with.
Okay, to that end,
trying to find the center.
I want to ask you this one, to finish this off here.
No, I got one more after.
Oh, you got one after that. Okay. I like this one a lot because I think this can go for McGee, but it can also go for Sean Murray. If season 1 McGee met today's McGee, what advice would he get? And maybe the same for Sean. Like if you're looking back at Probie from Sub Rosa.
Yeah.
What would today's McGee have to say to him? And maybe what would Sean have to say to that actor Sean back then?
Probably similar things. Don't get too worked up. Just keep your head down, learn the thing, and you're going to get better as far as, the new things that there are to learn and all these, sort of new experiences. And, I don't know if that's any sort of revelation to be able to tell yourself an older, hey, don't sweat it so much.
Yeah.
It'll come to you. It'll be there. But, I think also there's a thing to pacing yourself that you don't hear it talked about a lot, except you know what I hear, people that are on like long run shows, especially network television shows that do 20 plus episodes, a year, that you have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
Because I remember early on too, just throwing everything into the work.
Yeah.
And, you can't, your voice is gone 3 days later because you put yourself through such a, turmoil. And so and I learned that from Harmon too. Harmon was I learned a lot of stuff from Mark, but the art of the pace is, and I think that goes just as well for McGee because much, McGee can also be very anxious, and when things aren't the way it was, he wants them a certain way, and he battles with that a little bit. So it's like, you just learn the thing and be patient.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because, Sean Murray from 23 years ago and McGee, they both would have fallen out of their chair and said, no way, if you would have said, you're still going to be doing this 23 years from now. You know what I mean? Like
dude.
You who knew you would have to pace yourself back then? You know what I mean? Because it was like, no, this is a TV gig. I want to make this the best it can be. And really, energetically blow it out,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah,
no one saw this coming, man.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
I have one last question,
Yes.
and it's a little bit of a house, you'll see the pun later, question, which is you are a big EDM fan, which is perfect because our producer Isaac is also a big EDM fan.
Oh, yeah?
So we wanted to know
nice.
your favorite DJ.
My favorite DJ?
Yes, a DJ.
Oh, that's
DJ. Or type, yeah.
I'm so old into electronic music. I don't think the EDM term was even invented yet.
Yeah.
I was listening. I think it was a lot more IDM and other things like that.
Yeah.
What's IDM stand for?
It's a whole thing. There was like kind of a.
It's just one letter.
I know. I'm sorry. But there's a lot about it.
Sure.
It stands for intelligent dance music, and it was a title given by
As
the
a pop
British
music head,
media.
ouch.
I know, right? It was like intelligent dance music. So you got stupid dance. There was a particular group of artists in the early and mid 90s that kind of came out of, most of them came out of England. Guys like Aphex Twin.
I was going to say Aphex Twin is you had up at,
Who's my hero of all
Yeah.
time. I love that guy more than anything.
You also had Venetian snares up behind your desk.
Yeah, Venetian snares
forever.
I was into, and I actually, Doug Riley, the graphic designer on NCIS, and I were big Venetian snares fans.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, let's make a V snares like thing, and we'll just put it behind McGee's desk.
Yeah.
We're like,
don't tell anybody.
We won't say anything. We'll just have it back there.
Yeah.
And then it got picked up on after a while, and he actually contacted. There was he's Canadian, and like at the Manitoba paper, there was a thing about on NCIS this local artist's name is appearing on the show,
that's
and
so
that one of the
cool.
actors is a fan, and then the guy Aaron Funk that goes by Venetian Snares, he ended up contacting me, and we kind of became pen pals for a while.
Oh, that's so
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I'm just a big music nerd. You guys know me forever.
Yeah.
I'm a big music.
You've
nerd.
introduced me to a lot of really great artists. Like, honestly, like you've sent me like Danny Brown, who's from Detroit, and who I
Yes.
can't believe I didn't know before.
I can't either.
Earl Sweatshirt, and
Earl
like,
Sweatshirt.
you've given me some really good music recommendations.
There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yes, which is why we're going to have a radio show. This is the announcement of Sean and Diona. So you have to hold my hand to make it real.
I think
Radio show.
Remember radio?
Remember radio? Oh no! How ridiculous was that? That I said radio and not like podcast.
Radio program.
Program.
Yes, we have our fancy new radio program.
Children, gather round.
Gather round.
Oh,
Turn on the tube. It takes a while to warm up.
This was so fun.
I'm digging on the radio a program idea. Whatever we're gonna do, I like it. I love
Sean,
playing
it's
music
pronounced
for
program.
people. It's very.
Listen, if you keep introducing me to the good music that you've been introducing me to, I am 100% down. You name the time, you name the studio.
I would do a music show in a heartbeat.
Great, you heard it here first.
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it. Partners and Probies in music. I love it. Thank you so much for coming, dude.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
This was fun.
I think we scratched the surface, but there's 500 episodes to kind of go through, so we got to have you come back sometime.
Yeah.
There's more to talk about.
There's more to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it.
I know. I would love to come back here with you guys.
I love hearing that. I love it.
For real.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate
Of course,
it.
man.
Love you.
Thank you for having me. Love you guys too.
Love you.
Follow and listen to NCIS Partners and Probies on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.